either, but I don't.
How's that, Mr. Chair?
Okay, welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Charter Township Board of Trustees for March 16th, 2026. I ask you to please stand and join me for the invocation. Heavenly Father, as we gather today to do the people's business, we seek your guidance, wisdom, and support. We hope you will help us to engage in meaningful discussion and foster our growing closer as a community. We also ask that you keep a watchful eye over all of our servicemen and women in harm's way, as well as those working to restore power and clean up recent storm damage. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I get a roll call, Clerk Susie?
Yes. Walker.
Here.
Ryber.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Valente.
Here.
Hovarder.
Here.
Susie here. Spy here.
Here. All right, we have quorum. At this time, 6:31 p.m., I would like to open the call to the public. If you are here to speak regarding the North Shore Commons condominium SAD, if you could wait for your comments until the hearing portion of that. So this will be any general comments not related to that.
Christina Light.
Oh, thank you. Good evening. Can I turn this way and this way? Well, good evening. I'm Christina Like. I am running for Circuit Court Judge right here on the 44th Circuit Court. Originally, I am from Pinckney. I grew up there. I was raised there. Had three brothers. My dad was a gun dealer and also a UPS driver, so a mixture of things, but also a volunteer fireman. So we did a variety of things. Grew up there in a church, too, in Hamburg as well. I also will let you know, too, that my mother was a stay-at-home mother. So, you know, I had that balance there at the house. But I worked myself through school, became a trustee, just like you all are. And after that, I went to law school. But here's the thing. I'm running for judge. What does a circuit court judge mean, right? Why is it so important to have a good circuit court judge? And the reason why is because of this. One, they have your family and your friends in this community in their hands. And what that means is we have contracts we deal with family law matters, we deal with child protection matters, we deal with criminal matters, we deal with a lot of different matters that deals with everybody in this community. And what does that mean to us? That we need to have someone that is going to follow the law, the rule of law, but also follow the Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. And I have 20 years of experience. Not only have I been a trial attorney, I have 20 years of experience as being a family law attorney, a constitutional law attorney, a criminal law defense attorney, and also a variety of motions. I have a lot of experience in this community. I've done a lot of different volunteer work in this community. A lot of you know me for that. But one of the things the reason why I want to run for your circuit court judge, and I hope that you'll give me that chance, is because I want to make sure that we have a difference in our community. Right now, I don't know if a lot of you are aware, but we have what is called a cattle drive that goes through the court system. And what that means, everybody shows up at 1:30 in the afternoon or 8:30. And what happens is these people are having to wait all day long to make sure that you get called up next. So sometimes your attorney will be waiting there and waiting there and waiting there, and then guess what? You're paying the attorney bills. So what happens is that this individual can't afford maybe the next time, and it might be $1,500 just to wait there. And that ensures that middle-class people cannot get an attorney. So I want to make sure that we have time frames set for the court and make sure that we have like appropriate times. If you have a motion that's gonna last for 45 minutes, let's put you on the calendar that way. Second thing is I wanna make sure that we bring integrity to our office. I wanna make sure that we also have the rule of law, but also bring rule by the US Constitution and follow the Constitution of the state of Michigan. I will make this a little bit shorter than I usually do, but if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. I have worked several years for the veterans. My office we've done a lot of things for our veterans, and I see my 3 minutes is up. So I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Christina. Okay, nobody else signed up. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board regarding general government matters? Okay, seeing none, I will close the call to the public at 6:36 p.m. And I would entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Motion carries. Next, I would entertain a motion regarding the regular agenda.
I'd move approval of the regular agenda with items 7 through 18.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, I have support. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Motion carried. Action item number 7 is a public hearing on the proposed North Shore Commons condominium private road improvement special assessment project. Part A will be the call to the property owners. So as of 6:37, I would invite any property owners in the North Shore Commons condominium complex to step up to the mic and address the board.
Hi.
Hello.
Sharon Curtis, 3190 Mackenzie Drive. I'm one of approximately 70% of our association homeowners who are in favor and ask this township board to approve the North Shore Commons Road Improvement Special Assessment Project. Our roads are private and about 30 years old. The blacktop is aged. There's spidering underneath, and the curbs have significant deterioration. Our roads need much more than beyond that of annual maintenance. Approval of this project will ensure that the necessary work needed on our roads may be completed. So I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and the board. My name is Mike Van Hookey. I live at 3175 Mackenzie Drive. I've only been a resident of Livingston County now for a couple of years, but I got to say I've been pleasantly surprised by the treatment I get in those offices and the walking in there. I came from another city whose name I'm not going to mention, but having left there and come here, thank you for the treatment that we've got, that I've received in our building here. Secondly, the roads do need improvement. I have observed as I walk my dog through the roads that they were putting a little bit of tar over there, but the cracks in the road are so many of them now that they're going to start falling apart. They're just not in the best of shape. I want to thank you for your consideration, and I ask you to favorably approve the proposal, and thanks again for all your actions. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Mike.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Glenn Kelly, and I also live in the North Shore project, or condominium, and I also want to speak on behalf of the project, which is under your consideration. Our roads are long in the tooth, deteriorating to the point that they must be replaced, which will not only increase the property values for me and my neighbors, but also will bring in additional tax revenue to the township. As an aside, I previously lived in a different township and in a neighborhood that did not keep improving its properties. And as a result, that area is an area which I would no longer live in, just because it is deteriorated to the point that it's not pleasing to live in, and as a result, the property values have continued to deteriorate compared to all the other property values in that township that have been rising over the years. So again, I thank you for this opportunity, and I urge you to approve our project, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Ken.
I'm not here to talk. I just got a text from my neighbor today. It's his fault. I just phoned to pick him up.
Good luck.
Are there any other property owners that would like to address the board from North Shore Commons? Okay, I'm seeing none. I will close the call to the property owners at 6:41. And I would at this time open up a call to the public just regarding this project. So if anyone in the general public has a comment regarding the North Shore Commons SAD project, please speak now. Seeing none, I don't believe we need to have that. Moving on is action item number 8, which is a request for approval of Resolution 3, approving the project cost estimates, special assessment district, and causing the special assessment roll to be prepared for the North Shore Commons Condominium Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project, Summer Tax 2026.
Yeah, I'd just like to add real quick, this is proposed to go on your summer tax bill, and anyone wishing to pay it off early and avoid the 2% interest, you have until June 8th to pay it in full if you would like. You absolutely don't have to, but that is an option for everyone.
Excellent. Very strong support for the project, and congratulations on everybody who did the work on that. The more you can come in with good, positive support, the better project we feel it's going to be. Anybody else have any questions or concerns about this project? No. At this time, I would entertain a motion regarding action item number 8.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Can you read it?
How about hear what the motion
Yeah.
is?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve resolution number 3, approving the project cost estimates, special assessment district, and causing the special assessment roll to be prepared for North Shore Commons Condominium Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project, Summer Tax 2026.
Now I'll second it.
Okay. I have a motion. I believe I had a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Susie for a roll call vote, please.
Ryber.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Valente.
Yes.
Havarder.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spire.
Yes. Motion carries. Action item number 9 is the request for approval of resolution number 4, a resolution acknowledging the filing of the special assessment roll, scheduling the second hearing for April 6th, 2026, and directing the issuance of statutory notices for the North Shore Commons Condominium Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project, Summer Tax 2026.
I'd move approval of resolution number 4 as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask I will ask Clerk Susie for a roll call, please.
Hunt.
Yes.
Valente.
Yes.
Havarder.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Ryber.
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spire.
Yes. Motion carries. Congratulations. So one more hearing at the next meeting, And that will be the chance if anyone disputes their inclusion in the actual roll, is what that meeting is for. The project, is approved as of now. So, thank you very much. Moving on, action item number 10 is the consideration of a request for approval of amendments to the fiscal year 2026 and approval of the fiscal year 2027 operating budget for the Lake Edgewood sewer system. Everyone have a chance to review Greg's memo and take a look at the numbers? Greg unfortunately was called away for some repairs related to the storm, so he was unable to be here tonight. He absolutely wanted to be here, but he wrote an excellent memo and filled Clerk Susie and I in a little bit today on the project. So if anyone has any questions, we'll do our best to not screw up the answers.
Well, and as usual, Greg did a very thorough job on these, and a lot of work with Ken Pelka from Pfeffer, Hannaford, and Pelka. They work together, and these budgets come amazingly close every year.
Right.
And are very accurate, so completely trust their recommendations.
One thing Greg wanted me to point out for the people was just that the Lake Edgewood sewer system has some odor issues, so they use some chemical to control that. The cost of those chemicals is up 42% since 2019, so it's a fairly significant hit to the budget. This isn't like a huge system, so every little bit, unfortunately, hurts. So
Smaller systems are actually a lot harder to budget
Yeah.
and manage.
How many homes approximately are in Lake Edgewood?
does he have it in there?
Sure, it's here.
It's a lot. It's a big complex.
Where is that? I know I've
Is this
It's
a
across
condo?
from that Buick dealer.
It's just west of,
They're like one story.
not Herbst Road, yeah, Herbst Road.
They're all gray.
They're condos.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a-
they're
it's
kind
like a
of, they're
condominium.
detached condominiums, right off of Grand River, by O'Connor's. So they're past O'Connor's, and they butt up to the dirt road there.
Okay.
However, this system handles much more than just the Lake Edge.
That's true, it does, yes. No, it has some commercials hooked up
There,
too.
Kelly's got the map up.
It's pretty good size. And it was good how he found if he bought it in larger amounts, that saved money. And I liked how during the rainy days, they did the renovations to the building themselves. That's nice.
Yeah, they did. Greg's staff is excellent, they're very handy.
Yeah.
And they are able to save residents a lot of money by doing things in-house.
Yeah.
And it's always
Utilizing
better
their
to bring
time
both.
in a good way.
Yeah.
right?
no,
That was great.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. If there are no further questions, I would entertain a motion.
This is for the amendment, right?
Yeah, amendments and the
Increase.
fiscal year operating 2027 budget.
I'll move to amend the fiscal year 2026 operating budget for Lake Edward Sewer System and approve the fiscal 2027 operating budget for Lake Edward Sewer System.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion, I have support. Any further questions? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Action item number 11 is the consideration of a request for approval to increase the Lake Edgewood metered sewer charge from $7.83 per thousand gallons to $8.06 per thousand gallons. Increase the flat rate sewer charge from $153.03 per quarter to $157.62 per quarter, and to set the minimum sewer bill from $70.47 to $72.54 for usage of 9,000 gallons per quarter or less, effective April 1st, 2026.
And while we all hate increases for these utility bills, again,
very
Greg works very hard and cuts corners as much as he can, but like you said about the chemicals, just the operating costs are up so much that we can't not
And it's
increase.
my understanding it's developed, so there's not a lot of new homes coming in
There
to
is
Yeah, there's
help
nobody else
offset
to
the
share
cost
the
of
load.
this.
And the interesting thing is on his budget, he actually is a negative budget on his, and he does that purposely because he knows that water and, the rainy season or different things will affect things and so forth. But if you look at all his budgets, expenses are slightly higher than revenues all the time. Does that purposely.
Keeps it very close.
Yeah.
He does. He hits with amazing accuracy.
Like typically, what does a family use? How many thousand gallons? Like a month or whatever?
A family with a child will probably go over 10,000. Most two-person families probably do not go over the 10,000 minimum, unless you're using a lot of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair amount. The nice thing, it's a 3% increase, cost of, to reflect the cost increases. And most of the guidance in the area is that rather than like every 3 years hitting people with a really big raise, they really try to keep a small, manageable raise each year.
Yeah, I don't know about any of this because I'm on a well, so I don't have these kind of.
And those of us that are on this are very jealous.
Okay.
Any further questions?
I will move to increase the Lake Edward metered sewer charge as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion?
You want to just add in there, as well as the flat rate sewer charge and the minimum?
That was as it was presented. yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
all written out.
Okay.
Yeah. So seeing no request for further discussion, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose the same? Motion carried.
And then Greg will publish this in the paper as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And the pictures that he has in here, by the way, sees a guy cutting through the wall and so forth, and they could have paid a lot of people to create another room and storage of their, it's actually chlorine that they're storing, but they did it themselves to save a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that was excellent. Okay, moving on. Action item number 12 is the consideration of a request for approval of amendments to the fiscal year 2026 and approval of the fiscal year 2027 operating budget for the Oak Point water system. I know this one has a little bit of a bump in it, unfortunately, due to the water main break in January or early February, if I remember. So, again, very small system, so every little hiccup does cause a little more pain, so to speak. But
Although I know he was very concerned about the rate increases for Oak Point, and they actually came in lower than expected, so I myself am pretty pleased with
yeah, he was able
increasing
to
this much.
hold the rates right there.
What, just a question. So Lake Edgewood got a bump of 3%. What would cause a different subdivision to get a different bump?
Operating costs.
I mean, 3% is 3%.
Yep, but
That
if
3% is just bigger for one than the other.
well, oh yeah, in terms of
The water
the
system,
number, yeah.
because of the break and the repairs and everything, that added to it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just asking in general. If
Yeah.
it's 3%.
No, there's also the number of users, to divide the cost.
Okay.
The getting the water out of the ground costs the same whether 5 people are using it or 500. So if you have more people to divide it among, the cost per 1,000 gallons is going to be lower.
And Greg just takes so many things into consideration through this too. It's not just a percentage increase. It's the entire budget and the different operating costs and expenses all taken into consideration.
Yeah. Now, and the other thing is the budget that we approved for Lake Edgewood was sewer. Sewer is always it's a little more involved. So
Grinder-
sewer is more
grinder
expensive per 1,000 than water. So we're going to approve sewer for Oak Point down here, and you'll see the numbers are much more similar in terms of cost per 1,000. So at this time, I would entertain a motion on the amendments and the fiscal year 2027 operating budget for Oak Point Water System.
I'd move approval to approve the amendments to the fiscal year 2026 and approve the fiscal year 27 operating budget for the Oak Point Water System.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all of those in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Action item number 13 is the consideration of a request for approval to increase the Oak Point Water metered charge from $4.53 per 1,000 gallons to $4.76 per 1,000 gallons, effective April 1st, 2026. And this one is actually a 5% bump instead of a 3% bump, partially due to that added cost.
I'll move to approve the increase in Oak Point water meter charge from $4.53 per 1,000 gallon to $4.76 per 1,000 gallon for the fiscal year 2027.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries. Action on item number 14 is the consideration of a request for approval of amendments to the fiscal year 2026 and approval of the fiscal year 2027 operating budget for the Oak Point sewer system. So this is just the back half of the operations, if you will.
Yeah, he also had a lot of grinder pumps that have been replaced. He still got 73, I think he said.
78.
78 grinder pumps have to be replaced. The replacement costs for these things are about $12,000 all in. And he started with 200 and, what was the number, 220 total? That he, now down to 78 left.
Yeah, in terms of the ones that are original, yes.
Old age, you know.
This year, there were six replacements, so 72,000 of this year's expenses were related to grinder pump replacements. It's not just the pump. You have to redo the crock. They were fiberglass back in the day, so they have now switched to an injection molded plastic that is a little more durable, fingers crossed.
On page 75 of the packet, Kelly, can you put that picture up?
Yeah, this is
So
another.
this is kind of interesting. You look at it and say, okay, what's this going on? Well, right in the center there, right there where Kelly's is where the grinder pump is, in that person's yard. So when you have to dig all that out to replace that pump, you have to restore it all back like this too. So it's not just dig a hole, fix the pump, cover it up, and you're good to go. You got a lot of these situations they're taking care of too, as part of the process.
Yeah, there are some added repairs in
And
some
in
areas.
that particular picture, you'll see the wetness on the road. That's the sewer coming out from that grinder pump.
That is the failure of the grinder pump,
Yeah.
or at least the housing.
Isn't that nice?
Yum.
You know, you know.
Well, and some of the other pictures here that Kelly's flipping through too, I mean, there's some tight areas to work in.
The one that she just showed,
That one
that
there.
was all handwork because you couldn't get a piece of equipment
Yep.
between the two homes, so they had to wheelbarrow sand and use the
Pipe,
pump,
yeah. Yeah, that,
hydro excavating.
And that's not in Oak Point, but that's
That is
part of
not.
the Oak Point water system.
That would be the Tri-Lakes.
right. Yeah, a lot of time. And then the barge, couldn't even get through the homes to bring equipment in. They had to barge it in.
Water's Edge Dock and Hoist let MHOG use their barge to
Right.
get their excavator over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all those things unfortunately increase the cost of replacing a pump.
Yeah, and it's about $12,000, a little over, actually.
All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion on action item number 14.
I will move to amend the fiscal 2026 operating budget for Oak Point Sewer System and approve the fiscal year 2027 operating budget for Oak Point Sewer System.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion, I have support. Any further discussion? I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries. Action item number 15 is the consideration of a request for approval to increase the Oak Point Sewer System fee from $7.58 per thousand gallons to $7.81 per thousand gallons, and to increase the grinder pump fee from $55 per quarter to $75 per quarter, with other rates and charges unchanged in the fiscal year 2027 budget for the Oak Point Sewer System, effective April 1st, 2026.
So what is I understand what a grinder pump does. I've just never seen on my water bills grinder pump fee.
Yeah, some have it and some do not. Some might build it into the rate. On yours, you have sewer? Okay. So, yeah, you must have good flow.
You will
So you
mostly
don't
see
need-
most the people that have grinder pumps are in the lake areas.
Lake areas or where they're heavily prop, yeah, we don't have them in Oak Point, proper, you know. And this is so you get, instead of based on usage, you get charged a fee per quarter for them to maintain and eventually replace the pumps. So, because it wouldn't be fair to ask the people who don't have a grinder pump to, pay to replace your grinder pump. So. Any further questions? I will entertain motions.
I'll move to increase the current metered rate of $7.58 per thousand to $7.81 per thousand gallons, and increase the grinder pump fee from $55 per quarter to $75 per quarter, and keeping all other rates and charges the same.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries. That's it for water and sewer.
Good.
Action item number 16 is a review of the fiscal year 2025-2026 third quarter budget to actual report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this item is in your packet this evening, not as an action item, but just as a review item. And then the item that follows this is the amendments to the fiscal year 2026 budget. So I'm available to answer any questions, but I wasn't intending on going through this line by line.
I had called and talked to Kevin about this right here, and the way that let me get my glasses on because I'll see better far away with these on. So the way that it was just confusing to me why, and I'm just gonna use fictitious numbers. Let's say that we had a budget of $50,000 and we run for 11 and a half months and we've spent 10,000 of it. So we're not gonna spend the other 40,000 in the last 19 days of the fiscal year. Why would we then propose to keep it at $50,000 and not come back and say, well, we only spent 10,000, we got 19 days left, 11,000, 12,000, a little bit of a cushion. I'm not used to budgeting my personal expenses like that. I would say, wow, I pay $100 a month in water, so I'm gonna budget $100 over the course of a year. If I'm paying $50 for the whole year, I've over budgeted. Next year, I'm gonna drop my budget and say $60. So it brought up questions in my mind why we continue on with proposing the budget stay way above where the actual spending is when we're so close to the end of the year. I just didn't understand why we would do that.
Well, I think the most complicated thing with reporting here is we're looking at totals through December 31st. We're missing 3 months,
For the third
not
quarter
just
budget.
a month.
On these budget to actuals, the cutoff is December 31st. But in our budget that we're going to look to make amendments on, you are correct. That is through the 12th, I believe, right?
Correct. Yeah, and I believe your questions were on the next budget.
They
not
probably
the-
were, yeah.
Not the third quarter budget. But
Yeah.
in terms of, so this first page on both the budgets is revenue. And this is often a question about why we're not showing revenue or full revenue in some of these, and it's because of the winter tax. So we just had winter taxes paid March 2nd. Robin, I think just last week, settled with the county. So it always occurs towards the end of March that she's transferring the revenue into the revenue line items.
But it always makes it by the end of the month.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something that Kevin was able to explain to me as well. It to a lesser extent, it does, you know, I'm looking at page 86 of the packet, which I think is that page right there, or some reasonable facsimile thereof. And I can still see we have percent budget remaining. You know, I still see, and maybe this is the case, I still see budget line items where we have 100%, we either haven't taken in anything, and we're gonna take in everything, or we haven't spent anything, and we still have 100% of our budget left.
This is all revenue.
This part is, right.
And like,
Transfers.
yeah, while the tax bill's levied December 1st, collection this year went through March 2nd. So once everybody pays and I settle with the county, then all money gets dispersed to the general fund. So where it says 100% remaining for, or 90.98 remaining for current real property tax.
Right.
That the general fund has now, as of last Wednesday, so.
And then on the
It's just not
amendments
reflected
page,
here.
most of them will have, if there is a really big variance, they have an explanation as to what why that variance occurred. And so you have to judge, was that an oddity, or, you know, is that something that we're gonna revert back? And we just did our best to, you know, guesstimate whether or not we're gonna revert back, or if this is a permanent change. I think we've done a pretty decent job of hammering down the finals. Again, keeping in mind, it is just our best educated guess as to what's going to happen.
It's definitely a timing issue thing, and again, if any delinquent taxes of people that don't pay, the county collects those, we don't get that money till June. So you've got that little gap there too, and no way can we predict how many people are gonna pay, although our tax collection was over and above 95%, so.
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any further questions on the third quarter budget to actual report? No action needed. So moving on is action item number 17, which is the request for approval of year-end budget amendments for fiscal year 2025, 2026, involving budget fund numbers 101, 202, 208, 212, 249, 401, 402, 464, and 532. I do want to take a minute to just point out that because we are going to consider the budget for Parks, this is just a budget amendment for Parks and Rec. Same thing we went through last time. You know, Jody presented that there could be a potential conflict because the vouchers that we approved were before she was even on the board. I personally don't believe that amending that, you know, puts her in any conflict. But if anyone here feels that way, they absolutely can make a motion and we would vote on it to recuse her from voting. But I just wanted to point it out, so it's not an issue.
I do not have a problem with Jody
I don't have a
participating.
problem either.
I mean,
Okay.
we just got done looking at, I know some people here live in the Oak Point,
Right?
right? And they just voted themselves for
An
paying
increase.
higher. Yeah. So, yeah, with that being said, I wouldn't have a problem with her.
Okay, yeah, so we just wanted to make that be known so nobody could call anything into question. Has everyone had a chance to review the amendments, some going up, some going down. Not a lot, and kind of like, you know, if it was like a couple $100 or a $400 difference, we're not gonna sit here and approve a bunch of little amendments, you know, close enough. We really tried to focus on the larger items.
Mr. Chair?
I appreciate the comments on the side, Kelly, explaining
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
reasons why.
Thank you. One change that I would like to draw to the board's attention, and that is today we did receive some bank reconciliations and noted that a postage bill came in for $6,000. So the postage line item, which is on page 109 of your packet, under general government, we had thought originally that we would be okay with the $28,000 that was budgeted, but because of that $6,000 additional postage, I am asking the board to increase that to $30,200 as part of the amendments you make this evening.
Is that in 853?
That is in 261750001.
General government postage. I have to admit, I was shocked to find out that a first-class postage stamp is 78 cents. The last time I purchased one, I think they were 55.
Crazy.
Yay, email.
Expensive right now.
That is the third rate increase since the beginning of 2024, so things are changing fast, so
They
I
hide it from us
understand.
by putting forever on it instead of a number.
I think it's because so many people do everything by email and, you know,
That's a lot.
Unfortunately, we can't mail out ballots and stuff
Right.
by email.
so.
And I'm not 100% sure we had initially anticipated the mailing for the absentee application, which next year will go away, so that's a good thing.
Yep.
So,
I did have a question on, we're still on page 109, and I know I asked about this in the last meeting. The second line item is recruitment, and I seem to remember in the last meeting, there was a $5,000 expense that was approved for recruitment, and I realize this is 2025, 2026, so is this telling us that we didn't spend any money for recruitment all the way in March 12th, so 345 days, we didn't spend any money to recruit anybody?
So we didn't have a line item in the budget for recruitment, so if you look at the last line item in the budget, unallocated miscellaneous, that is where the recruitment fees are reflected for the current fiscal year.
this is one of those items where we're kind of trying to tighten up the budget a little bit to give a clearer, it's making it larger, but it's giving a clearer picture of where the people's money is going. So, we didn't have a lot of people leave, so luckily, there wasn't a ton of recruitment. There'll be just a little bit more this year. Our goal is to not have turnover, but
We try to
Recruitment.
avoid miscellaneous line items as much as possible, because then it's difficult to track what the spending is in it. So by being more specific and calling out the expenditure, we can sort of keep a better eye on it.
Recruitment was stuck into a lot of different line items, depending on how they felt like, well, it's really for this department and miscellaneous for that. So having a recruitment line item makes it cleaner and easier.
anybody else with any questions on any of the recommended amendments?
So if we're raising the postage under general, what about the postage? I mean, I see it's going up some, but is that enough to cover all that?
We believe so. We will see. There won't be that second large mailing from the clerk next year. Actually, there won't be 3 elections, so the clerk's postage is gonna go way down. Robin is pretty predictable, other than every year you add a few houses.
Okay.
But, and assessing is the same. You know, it just
Also-
every year it goes up a little.
Postage for letting people know that the precincts had changed.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So we think so, but again, that's how we end up with these budget amendments to reflect the corrections. That'll be taken into account when we formulate next year's budget.
Oh, good job. Thank you, everyone, for all the work on this.
I will entertain a motion.
I would move approval of year-end budget amendments for fiscal year 25-26 involving budget fund numbers 101, 202, 208, 212, 249, 401, 402, 464 and 532.
Second.
Yeah, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask,
Was 853 supposed to be in there as well?
let me see. I am too far up on the budget.
Yes,
Yes, I do believe it should.
Yeah.
and
eight-
adding Fund 853.
Correct.
I'll second that.
Okay.
With the amendment for postage.
With the amendment for postage.
With the amendment for the unpublished, yes.
For postage.
Where is 853 in the
It's-
packet? What page?
125.
I didn't scroll down far enough. Oh, it's in numerical order.
Yeah, that's a Pine Creek Debt Service Fund.
Oh,
Okay, so.
so I do have a question since we're there.
Okay,
Since
yeah.
we're there. Line item 2 that's in green, the first green line item on that page. We had nothing in the amended budget. We've spent $6,700 and we want to amend the budget to $189,000
That is correct.
in the next 19 days?
Yes.
Is this because we're just collecting?
That was part of the winter tax collection.
A lot of these revenue items, it makes a big swing whether they're on the
They're
summer
huge. That's a
taxes
huge
or the
swing.
winter taxes. Well, especially that one, because that was a pretty big hit.
So on their tax bill, they're paying us back on those SAD projects, and that's where we're getting that influx.
Yeah, and this is the district that actually had the bond sale. So, and the expenses are designated by the bond payments.
That's why it's broken out separately from the others.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a motion, we had a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Susie for a roll call, please.
Ovarder,
Yes.
Valente,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Reiber,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spire.
Yes. Okay. Motion carries. Moving on is action item number 18, which is a resolution, a request for approval of Resolution 260316 in opposition to the passage of Michigan House of Representative bills, and actually there's a little bit of typo miss here, 5529 through 5532, and also 5581 to 5584 regarding local municipality zoning authority. And I went ahead and just pulled out a few what these are, because I don't think people are necessarily aware. The concept was to introduce more affordable housing by reducing local zoning restrictions and red tape, in quotes. So House Bills 5529 and 5530 state that there can be no minimum lot size greater than 1,500 square feet if served by water and sewer. So that's 29 homes per acre, and you better like it because that would be the law. Also, this was weird, there's a carve-out to waive the minimum width and area requirements for any developer that has owned land since September 1st of 1992. Almost seems like that might be written with somebody very specific in mind. So that was odd. Yeah. House Bill 5531 limits requests for studies or other documentation related to a project. So like the environmental impact studies and those kind of things. Not clear on how much the limitation is, but they want to limit that quite a bit. And then once an initial site plan is approved, no further requests for any sort of documentation or studies, even if the developer requests a material change in the scope of the plan.
Oh, yeah.
These are, I got to tell you, I'm not sure what they were doing here.
Well, I mean, what this sounds like is, we've had a couple of things come across the board for moratoriums, and we've asked for moratoriums, why? so we can study, gather data. So the state wants to limit our ability to gather data, ask questions.
Well, this goes even farther than that. This will pretty much just eliminate the planning commission. The master plan, we won't have to waste any more time on that.
They want to compact everybody.
I understand their thought process, but I have a letter ready to go if we approve this that explains some thoughts about, maybe the local people know best how to address local housing issues. I just want to continue a little more because this is pretty shocking. 5532. So right now, you can initiate a protest petition of if somebody does a zoning that you don't agree with. You have to have 20% of landowners within 100 feet of the project to do so. They want to increase that number to 20% of those within 300 feet. And then if a petition involves increasing housing density, the new threshold jumps from 20% opposition to 60% opposition. There's also some this one's a very long-worded bill, a lot of strict rules for the petition wording. It's going to make it very hard to make a petition, even if you can get 60% of the people to sign it. House Bill 5581 restricts local units of government from imposing minimum home size requirements over 500 square feet. So you have to allow tiny homes, whether you want to or not. If the people want to allow those and in a specific area, that's fine. But this is just anywhere. Any residential area, 500 square feet could be the maximum minimum.
Well, there's 47,000 square feet in an acre and 500 square feet, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's what, 94 homes in an
With
acre?
5-foot side setbacks and 15-foot front setbacks and.
Well, that's the size of the home, so
Right,
you
the
would still
homes,
be subject to that 1,500 square foot lot. So you would have a 1,000 square foot yard. You probably wouldn't be able to park your car if you have anything bigger than a Yugo, but. 5582 prohibits local governments from requiring more than one parking space per residential unit, and also allows mobile homes in any residential zone.
Oh my gosh.
So you can put a mobile home anywhere you'd like.
Who are these people that are trying to support this?
This is a bipartisan bill, believe it or not. Some of these were introduced by
They live, I bet,
Republicans and some were introduced by Democrats. I think they were mostly introduced by people who have developer buddies.
Yeah.
Reckless speculation on my part. But House Bill 5583 prohibits local governments from requiring setbacks greater than 15 feet from the front of the property line and 5 feet from the sides or rear in metropolitan statistical areas. So, of course, I was curious, what is a metropolitan statistical area, and are we part of one?
Or adjacent to one.
Yeah, yep. And so Genoa is part of the Detroit, Warren, and Dearborn metropolitan statistical area.
Wow.
Really?
Which is weird. We don't feel like we're Detroit, Warren, or Dearborn.
Seems like you might have to drive a little bit to get to there.
So I was a little surprised. I thought we might be lumped in with Ann Arbor. Not that that would be great either. We like to be our own little thing here in Livingston County, but, so we would be subject to this. So can you see houses 15 foot from the road with 5 foot side setbacks?
And one parking spot.
Would make the ZBA job easier.
Yeah.
And then
There's more.
the final one is House Bill 5584, which allows duplexes and ADUs by right in all single-family zoning and prohibits local government from imposing stricter size, height, design requirements for single-family homes than duplexes. So we've made a lot of our decisions for like road infrastructure, for sewage and all that, sewer and all that kind of stuff based on one house per lot. And now all of a sudden they're gonna say, nope, everybody can have two.
It's also gonna affect like classrooms, police,
Absolutely.
fire, permeable surfaces versus impermeable.
On the bright side, in addition to bipartisan introduction, there is bipartisan denouncement of these bills. But I wouldn't want to take a chance to not let your voice be heard. So I do recommend that you contact your local representative and let them know you are vehemently opposed to, this is a blatant taking of local control. This might actually be even worse than
Solar and wind?
233, yeah, the solar wind, absolutely. I mean, that's bad. This is, again, just rip up the master plan, we're done. So,
Well, I appreciate you putting this together.
Yeah, thanks for the research here, Kevin.
While we can each do it individually, I think says volumes if we pass it by the board.
yep, absolutely.
So the typo that you said is, we reference 5585.
Oh, yeah, we are missing, we were missing a couple of, there's 3 additional terrible bills to just 5531.
The typo is just in the agenda language, not in the resolution.
Yeah, it's not in the resolution. The resolution is correct.
Okay.
The 5581 through 5585?
8-4 is on the resolution.
Yep.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
I'm just
those
looking at the
numbers are
first
correct.
whereas.
Down here, it's
Yeah.
8-4, up here, it's 8-5. So
Okay.
on the first whereas, it does say 8-5,
Oh, whoopsie.
5585.
It does, so we should,
8-4
if
is
we make a
correct.
motion, we should have that stop at 5584. 5585 could be a wonderful bill for all we know.
We don't know.
5585 cancels all these other ones.
Yeah,
Doubtful.
I would like to move for the approval of resolution 260316, in opposition to the passage of Michigan House Representatives Bill 5529 through 5532 and 5581 through 5584 regarding local municipal zoning authority.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
Do you know when these are going to be voted on?
So they're still in committee right now, so my letter will go to the committee chair, and we're kind of hoping maybe they don't come out of committee.
It could die in committee if
But
it's
it
too
could,
much
yeah.
opposition.
So, and weird things happen where things kind of simmer for a while, and then all of a sudden they blip up. So,
Do you know if
we will
many-
keep an eye on this.
Double down on these, though.
Do you know if many other townships are looking to approve? something
Many,
similar?
especially here in Livingston County. Most of our townships are looking to take some sort of action on this. SEMCOG has been very, very active in opposing this.
They're gonna learn about this tonight, and I'm gonna ask that they reach out.
The MTA, very opposed.
Yeah.
Michigan Association of Planners, maybe, not totally.
Which is surprising.
Very disappointing, actually.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Because kind of don't need as many planners if it's this spelled out.
Reach out to you?
I did get an email from Andrea Brown, and I owe her a phone call.
Okay.
Just looking at some of these House bills, it looks like there are people removing their sponsorship of them. So House
People
Bill,
stepping away from it, they're like, no.
yeah, House Bill 5584, Rep. Carter and Rep. Scott both removed themselves as co-sponsors last week. So my guess is it's working, people reaching out to them, letting them know they don't.
But don't let
support
up,
this
is my take.
supporting. But we need to keep.
So,
You have a motion? you
yeah,
have a
we have a motion, we have a
are
second.
Jennifer Conlon, correct?
So she assured me she's opposed to these. She came in here personally and to
Watch
meet
for
with
her
me. and
vote.
Said she would vote no.
Okay.
We support her on that, and I asked about, she got a barrage of our letters from the time we mentioned it. And I asked if that was okay, if she needed more to help justify her action, and she said yes. So let her know if you want her to vote one way or the other. So yes, we have a motion, we have a second, and we are having further discussion. Anything else? Seeing none, I will ask Clerk Susie for a roll call vote, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Reiber,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Valente,
Yes.
Havarder,
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spire.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution passed. Moving on, our board comments. Anyone have any from their,
Yeah, I spent last week, the entire week, from Sunday to Friday, at the Clerk Institute up in Mount Pleasant. It's a 3-year certification course. I got the first year down with that week. Lots of material, lots of stuff, and, quite frankly, and we had this discussion earlier today, I'm convinced with the amount of work that's done by the treasurer and by the clerk in townships, that it should not be an elected position. It should be an appointed position because it's easy to get elected, it's hard to do the job. there's a million things that go into these departments and what the responsibilities are of these people. And I'm doing everything I can to get up to speed. Fortunately, in the clerk's department right now, we have 2 rock stars with masters in the clerking world that are making sure this ship is running in the right direction. And I'm quickly getting up to speed. One of the things that we've done in the clerk's office is we've also gone on social media now. You can now contact us through the clerk's office through Facebook, Genoa Charter Township Clerk, and Instagram and TikTok, Genoa Clerk. We're posting Ask the Clerk questions and giving answers to people. We're using these platforms to update election updates, important information for residents, news about the clerk's office and responsibilities and township happenings. You can also follow us on and stay connected to the community through Facebook and through Instagram and TikTok as well. So I just wanted to share that. I know Todd likes to pump Genoa app, and this is just one more place to get answers and know what's going on, especially with the election season we have, and we've got 3 elections this year. So keep an eye on that.
And the third election will be, or the, technically it's the first election, but it's the one nobody was expecting on May 5th for the Brighton area schools. We're going to be getting a lot of information out about what that election is. It's for a bond issue. The board and the superintendent have put together a very informative package of what the money would be used for and that sort of thing. So we want to make sure to get that out to our residents so they can make an informed decision about whether they support that or do not support that. But we absolutely want to drive people to come out on May 5th and make sure you vote. Because a lot of people, as light as the attendance is or the voting is at an August election, it is a ghost town in May. And that will be only for people in precincts 4 and 5 Brighton area schools. So if you're in Howell schools or Pinckney schools, we even have a little Scotia of Heartland that we take care of. So if you're in any of those, you don't have to worry about May 5th. Right. But if you are in the Brighton area schools, we would love to hear from you on May 5th.
Can I tell them about the Q&A next week?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So the superintendent will be at the Brighton Senior Center next Tuesday, the 23rd, I believe, at 9:30 a.m. to do a Q&A with anybody who is in Brighton Area Schools District and they have questions on the bond. So he'll be there at 9:30 for a Q&A session.
Excellent. I think the more information, people can have, that they can make their own decision as to what they believe. Anybody else with any?
So next Monday is our active shooter training with the Livingston County Sheriff's Office. So if anybody is interested, the cost is free to Genoa residents. Dress is casual. It's held right here in the Township Hall, this room right here. It starts at 6 o'clock. I attended Stop the Bleed in last month, and so we got kind of like a sneak peek into the active shooter training. I've been to a couple myself. Unfortunately, this is the day and time when this type of stuff can actually happen. We just saw one at a church recently, right? It's good stuff. You hope you never have to use it, kind of like life insurance. You hope you never have to use it. But if you do, it's going to tell you the 1, 2, 3s. What you got to think of, and to have the wherewithal when something like that is going down to think, what do I have to do? Where do I have to go?
You want some of it to be muscle memory more so than thinking even. You want it to be kind of in your head. You already kind of have an idea what you have to do. These classes are excellent. I think the sheriffs really have this dialed in. Mm-hmm. Very informative. I've never heard anyone say they didn't learn quite a bit.
So we do active shooter training, obviously as staff of schools, and you learn things that you wouldn't normally think of in a situation like that,
Unless you're Todd.
So I would just encourage, I think you can sign up just by going on the township website. It's no cost. The sheriff's department doesn't charge us. I've been to trainings that last 45 minutes. I've been to some that last closer to 2 hours. This one might be scheduled for 2 hours. But it's out there. If you're interested in taking it, I encourage you to sign up.
I highly recommend it. So, good stuff. Anybody else?
Tomorrow, Kevin and I will be going to the Capitol Conference
In Lansing?
in Lansing. And then
I'm
tomorrow,
going to.
what's that?
I'm going to.
Oh, okay, excellent.
And then tomorrow night, we do have our first ZBA meeting in a few months, so finally get that back on the schedule.
All right.
Did you want to do anything for BAFO?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You have attended a follow-up meeting and have a much greater understanding of it than I do.
Okay. Actually, I'm trying to think of exactly what we had, because it was mostly the budget and that sort of, okay, I see, yeah.
That small item.
Yeah, whoops, okay, I was thinking, okay, all we did was approve the budget and a few other things. Okay, so, our Livingston County emergency response, there have been great strides made, with the commitment for towers for the 800 megahertz system and that sort of thing. There are still some details to be worked out, and there are a few hiccups. So we do still need to actively support trying to get this 911 system built out so that it's safe for all. Those of us in Brighton area fire, we have the funding to do whatever it takes to make sure our people are safe. But there are some more rural fire departments that are gonna have a little bit of trouble absorbing some of the costs that are being pushed down to the locals. So just as an entire group,
We need to stand side by side with everyone.
yeah, we are encouraging, all of our people, we just wanna get in a room, figure out what is the ideal situation. Because don't get me wrong, if you let firefighters go unattended, they'll have gold-plated everything. Chief's very good about that, but they want the best of the best. Maybe we can, be really super close, but not quite there. But the main thing is we need to determine what'll work for EMS, fire, and police, and then who's gonna pay for what, so that people can start budgeting for it. So we just need to keep working on some discussions on that,
And this is a public safety
and see
issue.
where it ends up. This is
needs
this
pushed
is
to
a
the
real
top.
deal. This is very important. But again, there was a huge financial commitment to build 5 new towers. But that was step one, but there's a few more steps that do have to be done to ensure that everybody is getting, proper 911 service and alerting of firefighters and communication while they're on the job and that sort of thing, so.
What other steps are other communities taking, like other counties?
There are other counties that are a good bit ahead of us in that regard. Firefighters are resistant to go to 800 megahertz. I think that's a hurdle we can get over as long as we figure out how to get the radios are about $7,000 a piece. So to a very small fire department out in the hinterlands, that's going to be a lot of money, and they're not going to be able to get those themselves. So that'll make that harder.
It seems like a lot of money for a radio.
That's a walkie-talkie.
It's a good thing about having only 2 manufacturers if you're the manufacturers. So Kenwood and Motorola are the only 2 people that make these radios. They also have to be tuned every other year to the tune of $500, so.
And they're so
That's-
unique with regard to what they need to be resistant to. And firefighters wear these massive gloves, and the controls have to be functional while they're suited up. There's a lot they gotta do.
So across the United States, all fire departments are using these radios?
Well, like I said, there's a system called VHF, which does have way cheaper radios. It does have some limitation. And I've looked into it and spoken with some people, and for whatever reason, it's fire that is really likes the VHF. Nobody else uses it. So it would be kind of like a special system just for fire. So, I do see a path forward using the 800 megahertz only, as long as we figure out how to get everybody to have enough radios. One issue is the tornado warning sirens are all in VHF. So there's 68 of them here in Livingston County, so those will have to be converted over if we get rid of
How come they
VHF.
can't have like dual things, like VHF and the other? Why can't they do that? Still
County
maintain
doesn't want
both?
to pay for it. County doesn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, so the county has said, once they have the VHF up and running, which right now it is, there's one more repair that could probably be done. They no longer want to support. They want everybody to go to 800 megahertz. And in doing some investigating outside of our county, that is not an unrealistic expectation. I don't feel. Now, some of the fire guys are going to be a little upset at me for saying that, but it's kind of like a resistance to change. And I think once they get over it, it seems to work from what I've heard from people who are on it.
Regarding
Our
the
chief said
tornado
there are some
sirens-
hiccups here and there.
Regarding the tornado sirens, there's one service in the state, one company in the state that services them. They're on the west side of the state.
Well, and I should mention, because many of you weren't here at the time, but the township did pay for the tornado sirens in Genoa Township, and the fire department pays for the maintenance on them. But my guess is if there is some conversion or upgrade needed, they may be looking back at us to cover the cost of that, because that was the arrangement, was that we would pay for the installation and the cost of them initially, and then they would just do the general
And I
maintenance.
have not been able to find what the cost of converting a tornado siren from VHF to 800 megahertz is. I've kind of asked around, and so could be $5, could be $5,000. I honestly don't. I'm guessing it's like everything, not as cheap as you would think it would be.
And I'm trying to remember how many sirens we have in the township.
I know 68 for the whole county. I do not know how many just in Genoa.
Cleary has a siren
Oak
at
Point.
Cleary College.
Say like
They
maybe-
blasted it during my son's commencement.
Oh, man.
And
So
they
you're
told-
well
they-
aware.
No, they told us in advance. And I'll tell you what, when you stand next to them, doing this doesn't help.
They rattle your windows.
They're loud.
That's a thing.
It amazes me with technology today that they don't have tornado sirens or sirens that could have different sounds for different things to alert, and just have one siren and have it be different. It just amazes me with technology.
Who would remember?
I mean,
Is
most,
that one chirp or two? What is
most-
that? Let me get out my book.
most people,
Siren Morse code.
I mean, we don't even hardly hear the tornado sirens where I'm at. So our
Me
phone,
neither.
our
You can't hear
phones
it,
go
I
off.
can hear it. You can't
We have a
hear it where
tornado
you're at?
siren?
I'm 4 houses down.
No,
Huh?
I mean, our phones go off,
Right.
so.
It is nice. And we had actually mentioned,
You can?
Are they
What?
really?
Ann Arbor is like, should we get
I'm
get rid of our
south and really,
tornado sirens and
have
just like
mine. Yeah, we
make
can do it
everybody
now.
rely on phones? And there's a big pushback against that because
And I could see there are people that don't have cell phones.
exactly,
So
and
that
they
could-
deserve to be protected
could
too.
be a
or if your
problem.
battery is dead, I mean,
Yeah.
it,
If I'm gonna
switching
walk, I'm gonna
strictly
go
to
for a
that,
walk and
bad.
not take my phone. Oh,
Not bad to do both, though.
yeah,
I couldn't see eliminating them.
right.
That's why I
So
would
yeah,
like to
that's a developing situation. We are kind of we're supporting our fellow fire departments. We're fine with what we've done so far. And we're just gonna take a wait and see and try to learn as much as we can approach. But the ultimate goal is to make sure we have an excellent system.
But they had some critical nights where their radios weren't working
That part
at
did
all.
get fixed.
That
So
is fixed.
That Band-Aid has been made. They would like to see one more Band-Aid to the VHF that is being resisted. And then there's a full VHF overhaul, which is like $3 million. I don't see that happening.
Are they looking at increasing the height of the tower in Green Oak
They are, I guess, increasing the height of the tower in Green Oak.
as part of the Band-Aid? As part of the Band-Aid?
Well, that's actually to make the full 800. So right now, we have only one 800 tower for the whole county, and it's actually right over here in Panhandle Eastern property. But they're gonna add 4 more, so we have 5 total. They are still looking for one up close to the freeway, west of Fowlerville. Conway Township was a little too far north. They had a lead there, so they're still working on securing that 5th location, but I'm sure they'll get it. So, well,
Thank you.
I guess with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 7:44 PM.